You're listening to Living Full Out with Nancy Solari. As a life coach, Nancy can teach you how to stay strong under pressure and work through challenges you face. Being legally blind, Nancy inspires others to be resilient in overcoming obstacles and live full out. You can ask Nancy for advice in your life on relationships, finance, business, health, and more. Just call in at 800-333-0001. Once again, that's 800-333-0001. Now, here's Nancy.
Hello and welcome to Living Full Out Show. My name is Nancy Solari, and today we're going to be talking about building a system. You know, it takes a tribe. It takes a supportive team, that sphere of influence, sometimes to push us past that finish line to where we want to go in life. So today we'll be focusing on building that system for your own life. And what does that look like? Who are the people that you need to maybe enroll, to ask, maybe even somebody you haven't met yet that, you know, will serve as a supporter for you. So stay with us there. Also, feel free to call in. That number is 800-333-0001. Also, stay with us in our next segment. Very compelling interview. Giunta Rafeh. Amazing story of how she had to find herself, get past kind of the dark demons of mental health and dealing with family members that were committing suicide. But yet, you know what? Amongst all of that, she unwound herself off of medication. She found her way through very positive therapy and coping skills. And today, she's living her purpose as a therapist. So stay with us. We want to hear from her and how she got through all of that. And when we talk today about building a system, it really is just that. It's figuring out, how do I want to grow in my life? How do I see this unfolding? You know, what are those dreams and aspirations that I have? And sometimes you have to figure, gosh, do I need a coach? Do I need someone physically to get me in shape to where I want to be so I can athletically achieve a goal? Or maybe you need a coach who is more academic, or somebody who will teach you a new skill so that you can advance in your career or take on a new hobby, whatever that looks like. Also, consider those friends and family members in your life, right? You might need somebody who's that empathetic person that you can come to, who can be a sounding board when you're really having those hard days. Or maybe it's somebody who is very tech savvy and maybe you're not, and you're like, stressed out by all these apps and different things that you want to do in the new year to advance yourself and keep up with, maybe other candidates applying for jobs that you are. But that tech friend may really come in handy, and maybe you could do some sort of a trade. Or maybe you're looking to become a better cook, and maybe that friend in your life or maybe a family member is someone who can teach you some of their favorite recipes. What I want you to look at is when you're building a system, it's really about making your world bigger. You know, in life, we don't know what we don't know. We have these blinders, right? We can't see what's out there that isn't even in our orbit, right? But family and friends and coaches, those people can kind of part the clouds and allow us to go beyond what we ever thought was possible. Now, I'm getting word from our producer that we do have a listener on the line. Let's go say hello to them. Hi, welcome to the Living Full Out Show.
Hi. I have a question. How can I create emotional boundaries with loved ones when they are going through a tough time without letting the negative energy affect me?
I really do get that, because it's hard, right? You want to be there for them, but then you've kind of got your own stuff. And how much stuff can one take, right? Let me ask you a question. So there may be multiple family members in your life right now bringing negativity to you. But can you give me just a little bit of insight as an example of, what is one situation that you're dealing with? And how are you trying to handle that?
My sister is going through a hard time at work, and, daily she calls me with all the drama that's going on, and I don't really know how to respond to her or without making her negative energy affect me.
And see, the reason why I wanted to ask that question is so I could help you with just that one situation. So here's what you're going to do. You're going to start having office hours. Okay? You're like her coach. You're her therapist, right? So
Yeah.
it doesn't mean that you can always be on call, because if you're working, if you're doing something with someone else, you want to honor that person's time and be present with them, you can't always take her call. You may not always have, you may only have 5 minutes and she wants to take 15, right? So what I would say
Right.
to your sister is I would just kind of set the expectation. I would say, here's the thing, I love you. And the best way for you to text me, if you reach out, if you really need me, is a text message. So if you really need me, text me and let me know what it is, right? That way you're kind of sensing, you're kind of building this urgency pattern, right? Now, if you don't need me, then know that I'm available anytime after 4, anytime in the evenings, right? Now, you still might choose to send her, as her sister, little silly things to cheer her up. Maybe it's a quote, maybe it's a song, something to just let her know that you're thinking of her. It's not like you're abandoning her. But I think there would be a lot of freedom for you if you could kind of do that in the most loving way possible. But that is how you build boundaries. Do you see that?
Yeah. Yeah, no,
Now,
I think that would help a lot.
yeah, and it's not gonna relieve her pain, her stress, but I bet you have your own, right? So when you find
Mhm.
that you invest time and you hear her out and you're coaching her and then you hang up, I bet you're exhausted. I bet you're thinking, okay, now I need a nap, right?
Mhm.
So how are you taking care of yourself? It's kind of like going to the bank, right? There's a lot of people in your life withdrawing emotional energy from you. So are you depositing well-being into yourself?
Can you repeat that again? I'm sorry.
Well, are you making deposits into your own bank, into your own well-being? Are you
Yeah,
are you
I
working out?
try to do a little bit of self time, or
Okay.
get alone time to myself.
Okay.
It's just me setting that boundary of other loved ones, so it
Okay.
doesn't take too much away from me.
Well, and I'm glad to hear you say that, right? Because you asked me about boundaries. And a lot of times when people don't have boundaries, it's because they're feeling depleted. They feel like they're out of balance. They're giving more than they're getting back in a relationship. So the fact that you do set those boundaries, the fact that you are carving out time for yourself, eating right, working out, getting sleep, that's what it's all about. But I really believe that if you just kind of have that heart to heart with your sister and set the boundaries of when you're available, or maybe let her know, again, maybe text is the best method. And when she can text you if she's having a bad day, you can say, I'll call you in 45 minutes. And she might be waiting right by the phone for those 45 minutes, right? But you're setting the
Hmm.
expectation that she can no longer just pick up the phone and call you, that you're kind of building your preferred method of communication. Does that make sense?
Yes, thank you so much. I think that will
You
help a
got it.
lot.
Perfect. Well, thank you so much for calling in.
Thank you. Have a
And
good one.
thank you. And I love that she asked that question, right? Because her sister looks at her as part of her system. We're talking today about building a system. She is within her sister's system. So, and she's probably a great listener, gives good advice. But that listener also needs to build her own system. Who are her go-tos? Kind of like a domino effect, right? If someone's going to contact us and need our support and they kind of fall on us, well, what happens when you need support? When the domino falls, who's going to catch you? You want to think about who are those people that will catch you when you fall, that will be there for you when you need help, when you need support. And I think about the different people in my life. I mean, I can tell you at Living Full Out, I may have started this company, I may have created this show, but man, it is the assistants and even the people in the production team here, Eilish and Rich and Kale and Caleb and all these different people that are really my eyes. They make all the magic happen. I'm just the one that gets to be here with you. But you got to think about in your world, what makes the wheels on the car turn? What gets you to where you need to go? And you're feeling like, well, hey, Nancy, that's great, but I can't afford a babysitter. I can't afford an assistant, or, I feel like I live in an area where there are no resources. I encourage you to push beyond those limiting beliefs that I can't, there isn't. Anything that's an N''T, get it out of your mind. It's just clutter. I promise you resources are there. I want you to reach out to us at connect@livingfullout.com. That is why the show is here, to give you that support, and we want to hear from you. Now, stay with us. We're going to be coming up with Giunta Rafeh, and that her story is so inspiring. And what it's going to allow you to do is, again, part those clouds. Look at what is possible. Building that system, all those people in your life that can cheer you on as you get to where you want to go. So stay with us. I'm Nancy Solari. This is the Living Full Out Show. We'll be right back.
Hi, professional skateboarder Tony Hawk here with Bugs Bunny and Daffy Duck to remind you to get moving every day.
Because when you get moving an hour a day,
you'll have the energy to skate through anything.
Nice play on words, Doc.
That's how I roll, Bugs. So whether you like to work the half pipe,
now that's catching air,
kick the soccer ball around, or dance in your room,
just move it your way.
For an hour a day.
The way you like to move, as long as you're moving.
Carve out some time every day and get active. Because it's time to do a 180 on what you think exercise is.
Because it can be whatever you want it to be. So be a player.
Be a player.
Get up and play an hour a day, Doc. Check out how to be a player at letsmove.gov.
Head online to get tips on great ways to get moving every day.
At www.letsmove.gov. Let's hear that one more time, Doc. That's www.letsmove.gov. A message from the Ad Council and HHS.
I'm Nancy Solari, certified life and business coach. I want to invite you to the Personal Development Bootcamp. During the bootcamp, we're going to be looking at taking those insecurities that you have and getting rid of them. We're also going to look at ways in which you can thrive and live a life full of purpose. Go to livingfullout.com/bootcamp, livingfullout.com/bootcamp to sign up. I believe in you, and here's to you living your life full out.
I'm Sarah, and this is my story.
I'm Ellen, and this is my story.
One night, I was at a bar.
I
was having fun with my friends.
I
had one too many drinks.
I
got behind the wheel to go home.
I got a cab to go home.
All of a sudden, from out of nowhere, a squirrel ran across the road.
And all of a sudden, from out of nowhere, a squirrel ran across the road.
It happened so quickly, I barely had time to react.
It happened so quickly, the cabbie barely had time to react.
I swerved.
The cab swerved.
I can't believe it. I hit a guy.
I cannot believe it. The cabbie just missed a guy.
I wish I took a cab.
Thank goodness I took a cab.
You have the choice to save a life. Don't drive buzzed. It's a decision you'll never regret. Buzzed driving is drunk driving. Brought to you by the Department of Transportation and the Ad Council.
Hey, America, we need to have a little talk. We've got more food than we know what to do with in this country, yet 17 million kids in America are struggling with hunger. Makes no sense. Luckily, the Feeding America nationwide network of food banks has volunteers gathering excess food and getting it to hungry kids. They're kind of like food angels. Hey, become a food angel yourself by supporting Feeding America and your local food bank at feedingamerica.org. We can't do it without your help. Brought to you by Feeding America and the Ad Council.
If you think depression is all in a person's head, you're right. It's a brain illness. And like other illnesses, it has symptoms. Depression can make those who suffer from it feel hopeless. It can even lead to suicide. Learn how to stop depression from taking another life. Call SAVE, Suicide Awareness Voices of Education, 1-888-511-SAVE, on the web at save.org.
I'm Alec Baldwin. Like any parent, I'm concerned about children's health. Many kids don't eat as they should and are at risk for long-term health problems like diabetes and heart disease. But here's good news. Fruits, vegetables, whole grains, and other low-fat vegetarian foods can protect our kids and keep the rest of the family healthy, too. For a free booklet, call the Physicians Committee for Responsible Medicine at 1-877-685-KIDS or visit www.kidsgethealthy.org.
You're listening to Living Full Out with Nancy Solari. With Nancy's expertise, you'll learn how to embrace your potential and strive for success. If you have a question or need further support, send us an email at connect@livingfullout.com. Now, here's Nancy.
Thank you very much for joining us today. I am Nancy Solari, and this is the Living Full Out Show. And today we're talking about building a system and those supporters in our life, those people that we can go to when we need them most. But sometimes it's hard to find those people, and sometimes there's that saying, you got to kiss a couple frogs before you find your prince or princess, right? Well, that can come the same way with therapists and friends and partners, you name it. But the reason why we do this show is we always want to bring inspirational guests to the table that can really share with you the journey that they went through, how they got through the hard times. And I will tell you, Giunta Rafeh really went through it. But thankfully, she kind of learned those lessons early in life. But I think we can all kind of take from her story and see how we can apply taking these hard times that almost seem like you're never going to get through it. You just got to push through it, have that system, have those people in your life, and then you will get over the hill. And you will see, gosh, now I see why all that happened. Kind of those parts clout, And so what we want to do now is bring Jessie to the show. Hello, hello.
Hi, Nancy.
Hi. So nice to hear your voice. Hey, so Jessie, there's so much I want to get through with you, but I know when you grew up early on, 5-year-old Jessie, right? You had loving parents. They were very educated, went to Stanford, and they wanted you to be your best, but you were a shy little girl, and then over time, they tried to pull you out of your shell. But I also know that as an only child with such successful parents, you started to feel pressure as you started going from 12 to 14. What was that?
I think my parents had the best intentions in the world to make me the best human being I could be. But their bar was pretty high. They were really Stanford graduates, successful careers, and really good socially. Both of them were too. And I was shy. Sometimes stuff in school, even if I tried my hardest, I wouldn't get the A. Reading was a little bit difficult. So I think from 0 to 12, I had tried as hard as I could to meet these. Time I got to had a large group of friends. I was on student council. I played 3 sports. I got pretty good grades, but it just felt internally like I couldn't keep it up. Like it was too much. Like it was taking all my energy. And whenever I got to a certain, then the bar just, and that internally, I don't think it was tension, but internally I felt like I was never good enough.
Yeah, and that's really, that's a lot of weight on your shoulders as a teenager, right? And I know 9th grade for you, age 14 for everybody listening, that was really when you started to sink deeper and deeper into a depressed place. And I know your cousin, who really was a lot like an older brother to you and 10 years older than you, even he started to feel depressed and show signs that were, very concerning. What was your connection with him? And as a young girl, what did you realize about depression at that point?
His brother had struggled with mental illness. His name was Jason, and Jason and I, and a brother had also struggled with it. But him and I were kind of looked at as the ones in the family that were okay and that we were going to make it. But what I was observing in him from around 12 to 14 is he progressed. He had graduated college. He wasn't sure what to do with his life. His brother wasn't able to live independently because of his own mental health issues. And Jason was just kind of tanking. He didn't want to leave his brother behind. He didn't really know where he wanted to go. And he was lost. And he moved, to Los Angeles. He grew up in San Francisco, but he had moved to Los Angeles, and he would come over from family dinner every Sunday at my house, and I could just see him going further and further away. And he went missing in the beginning of my 9th grade year, and a week later, the police found him. He had jumped off the Golden Gate Bridge. And when he did that, not only did I feel the immense loss of him, I think every feeling that I had stuffed down came out all at once. It was like, there's no energy left to be this perfect kid anymore. I better start being real. And so I went into a deep depression, and I told everyone I walked around kind of embodying that. I went to school, wearing dark colors and just really struggling emotionally. My friends
I imagine, Jesse, that your parents, watching their daughter, someone that they held so many hopes and dreams for, and somebody who was a beautiful spirit before, the 9th grade year really got deeper and deeper for you, you did kind of start to give up, and you started to do something called cutting. What is cutting, and why did you do that?
Yeah, so cutting is I started self-injuring, and the reason was because it was for 2 reasons, actually. There were times when I felt so much emotion that I didn't feel like I had any place to put it, and I couldn't even cry. It was so overwhelming. The cutting felt like a way to release some of the stuff that was inside. At other times, I would become really numb. The emotion, I would flip between feeling so much to feeling nothing. And the cutting made me feel like I was alive. At least I could feel that pain when I couldn't feel anything else. So even though it's, I'm sure it's disturbing for people to hear that as a coping mechanism, in some ways, at that time, it kept me sane before I knew how to actually cope with my feelings.
Well, and I think, we have to kind of pull back and really see who you were at the time. You'd lost your almost like big brother figure. You had all this pressure, to keep up with your parents' expectations. You loved them, but, you just felt like you needed to achieve and achieve and achieve. And, all of that was kind of slipping away. And I want to make sure that you stay with us, Jesse. We're going to come back and continue your interview shortly. Everybody listening, it's all today about building a system, but how do you do that? How do you find those go-to people? Sometimes when you're in such despair, like Jessie was, here she was cutting herself, and she was only 14, right? But I know many of us right now feel as though our backs are against the wall financially. We may never have that relationship, and it seems so easy for everybody else. But do not lose hope. Today it's about building that system. So on the days that you're feeling sad, a little bit lost, we are right there to support you. I am Nancy Solari. This is the Living Full Out Show. Stay with us. We'll be back.
You're listening to Living Full Out with Nancy Solari.
There are many sounds in your day-to-day life. There are sounds that wake you up. Sounds that make you smile. Sounds that energize you. And sounds that help you relax. But there are some sounds that can alert you to danger and can help save lives. Wireless emergency alerts, now on many mobile devices, use a unique sound and vibration to bring you information about severe weather events, Amber Alerts, or other emergencies in your area. With critical information from local sources you know and trust, you can be in the know, wherever you are. For more information, visit ready.gov/alerts. Brought to you by FEMA and the Ad Council.
Hello, my name is Jeffrey, but people in this town call me Maniac. They call me that because I'm the fastest runner in town. But just because everyone knows who I am doesn't mean I belong. I don't really belong anywhere. You see, I'm an orphan, and I wander the streets just looking for a place that I can truly call home. My name is Maniac McGee, and I'm all alone. Explore new worlds. Read my story in the novel Maniac McGee by Jerry Spinelli. For other great book ideas, visit your local library or log on to literacy.gov. Brought to you by the Library of Congress and the Ad Council.
Look for the bare necessities.
The bare necessities of healthy living are easier than you think.
You better believe it.
And the food pyramid shows you the way. With just the right amount of exercise and the necessary grains, vegetables, fruits, milk, and meats and beans.
Just the bare necessities of life.
So eat right, be active, and have fun.
Yeah, man.
For your own path to a healthier you, visit mypyramid.gov.
This is really living.
This message brought to you by the U.S. Department of Agriculture and the Ad Council.
Hi, my name is Nancy Solari, host of the Living Full Out Show. I am excited to let you know that we are now associated with Alexa. If you have Alexa in your house and you didn't know that, go ahead and find Living Full Out because you can hear us anytime you want, and we're there for you to keep you motivated. Go to your app store because we're located there as well. Just look for the Living Full Out radio show. It's important to us that we put out really inspiring programming, but we want to make sure that you have it at your fingertips when you need us most. We never know when those challenges are going to come, when we're going to feel lonely and need that motivation. So just know that when you need us, we're here for you. Check out Alexa, the app stores, or go to livingfullout.com. Here's to you living full out.
What if I could tell you that a full-blown wildfire was going to occur tomorrow right where you live? Tell you exactly which neighborhoods it would engulf and how fast it would do it. The first thing you would do is talk with your loved ones and make a plan today. It's true, I can't tell you a wildfire will strike tomorrow, but shouldn't you make a plan anyway? Go to ready.gov/communicate and make your emergency plan today. Don't wait. Communicate. Brought to you by FEMA and the Ad Council.
Driving has a rhythm all its own. Don't wreck it with a text. Before you get behind the wheel, silence your phone. Or better yet, designate a texter. For more text-free driving tips, visit stoptextstoprex.org. Brought to you by the Ad Council and the National Highway Traffic Safety Administration.
You're listening to Living Full Out with Nancy Solari. As a life coach, Nancy can teach you how to stay strong under pressure and work through challenges you face. Being legally blind, Nancy inspires others to be resilient in overcoming obstacles and live full out. You can ask Nancy for advice in your life on relationships, finance, business, health, and more. Just call in at 800-333-0001. Once again, that's 800-333-0001. Now, here's Nancy.
Welcome back. I'm Nancy Solari, and this is the Living Full Out Show. And today we're talking about building that system in your life, how you can get the support you need to keep going on the days that it seems so hard and like the light is not in sight. I promise you it is. And we have brought you an inspirational guest today who is telling us her story of how she got through a really hard time with various therapists and finding her way as to who she was and who she wanted to be and being over-medicated, and it just goes on and on. But I'd like to welcome Giunta Rafeh to the show. Welcome, Jessie.
Hi, thanks for having me.
Absolutely. So, Jessie, I know that here you were 14 years old, you know, you're just talking about death, you were kind of, you know, into the goth scene, you were cutting yourself, it was really kind of a dangerous situation, and your parents did seek a therapist. Unfortunately, not the most shining star in the world in terms of a therapist. And the most interesting thing, I think, which just shows such a disconnect, is she wanted you to sign a contract. What was that?
Well, at the time, cutting was becoming more rampant. And there was a theory in the field of therapy that what you do when you have a cutter on your caseload is you get them to sign a contract where they commit to not cutting themselves. But as a, teenager, I just thought this was silly. I was like, I'll sign any piece of paper you want, but it doesn't mean anything to me. And until I build some other way of coping with my pain, I don't know how I'm going to stop. It's not possible. So, yeah, she had me sign a piece of paper that said, I promise not to cut myself, but I didn't feel connected to it.
Right. And then to further her bad recommendation, she then kind of recommended to your parents to have you go to a psych hospital, which sounds terrifying. What was that experience like at the hospital?
It was really awful. It was in the 90s, and that was also common at the time to send teenagers that were really depressed or cutting themselves to psych hospitals and just lock them up, and hopefully this intensive kind of therapy would help, knock them out of their depression or whatever. But my experience was, and I think it was common for many teenagers at that time, is it just put me around a number of other peers my age who were also in a massive amount of pain, and they were very medication biased. So instead of having a lot of talk therapy and building of coping skills and art therapy, it really felt like we were just given a lot of psychotropic medication, not given really new coping skills, and it kind of just sent me more. What it told me is I'm just going to be like the rest of my cousins. I'm going to end up struggling with mental illness, be in and out of psych hospitals. This is who I am. Like it reinforced that negative identity for me.
Well, and the most interesting thing is, it wasn't like your schoolmates had you just kind of fade away and everybody was like, where'd Jessie go? In some weird, strange way, you became like a little celebrity in your school. Why is that?
Yes, I think because, I went to this all-girls college preparatory school, and I think a lot of people were feeling the pressure that I was telling you about at the beginning of this show, this pressure to be perfect and hold these high standards. So when I decided to walk around and just say that everything stinks in my life and I'm depressed and I hate everything and I was just real, I think people were really attracted to it because a lot of them were feeling that too. And then by the time I got in the psych hospital, I had all of these people that I never met at my school writing me letters telling me their sob stories and their pain. Unintentionally, I led the depressed revolution in my high school.
Wow. And the thing that's interesting is obviously that therapist was not the perfect fit for you, for your ability to thrive and cope and get those skills. Now, thankfully, someone did introduce to your parents Tony, new therapist.
Yes.
And right away, she stood out. Right away, you felt kind of that kinship, that support. What did she do that was so different than the first therapist?
So I had come out of the psych hospital, I got more and more depressed. My parents were just at a complete loss, and this woman, Tony, was kind of a drive for us. And someone was like, just try her because she does miracles with teenagers. So my parents were like, okay. And the first thing she did that was different was she had me in the room with my parents in the first session, which immediately signaled to me, like, you're not alone in this problem. And she looked at me, she had me sit next to her, and she had my parents on the couch across from us, and she said, okay, Jessie, what do you think this family needs to be different to help you? And even though I was really scared to tell them and to give them feedback because I kind of had viewed it as I'm the problem child who can't figure this out, I also felt really seen and heard and understood in that moment,
What a scary moment. I can just picture it though, like hearing your parents and you're like, do I really tell you the truth or just make it look good, right?
Exactly. I have to go home with them.
I know. But you did. You courageously, boldly told them the truth. And they said to you, you know what? This is your new therapist. But now this is where it gets exciting, right? Because for the first time, this now 15-year-old Jessie, 15, 16, 14, 15, 16 were not your fabulous years, right? Those were the tough years. But you started to have this switch where you felt like, okay, I am building a system. I got my parents. I got Tony. But what were the therapies? What were the tools that Tony gave you?
So my whole life, I think, and this happens for a lot of people, I was just trying to avoid and deny what I felt. I was afraid if I felt the pain of my cousin's death, if I felt the fear I had about succeeding in life, if I felt my fear about not being good enough, that what would happen is I would just crumble. So I had just stuffed all those feelings down. And what Tony did was say to me, like, no, not only are those legitimate feelings and understandable feelings, but also, like, tell me, I want to know, let's feel them. And the more she encouraged me to feel them with her and with my parents as witnesses to it, the more I started to release what I had been stuffing down my whole life. And I started to just feel better. Because what I learned later, I'm now a therapist, what I learned later is that what you resist will persist. So the more you avoid what you're feeling, the bigger it gets, the more you allow yourself to surrender to it. It's actually, emotions are designed to be temporary and move through us.
That is very insightful. That's very interesting. I think what is so fantastic, and this is why for everybody listening, whatever it is you're going through, whether it's your weight, whether it's a relationship, whether it's mental health, whether for me, like me, it's blindness. The most interesting thing is the hardest times in our life can birth our passion, can birth our purpose. And you had to go through it to be who you are today. Can you share with us why you decided to become a therapist?
Yes. So in this process of getting better, and by the way, the psych hospital had put me on all this medication, and Tony was like, you don't need all that medication. And slowly with psychiatrist's help, we got off all of it. And as I started to feel better and find my true self and find my happiness and find my connection in my family, I was like, not only do I feel better, but I love the process of therapy. Like, I'm so inspired. So I had Tony give me assignment after assignment of books they read in grad school to become therapists. And I knew by 18 years old, like, this was my journey. Now that I've gotten out, I'm so inspired to help other people get out too.
Well, and we're talking, Jessie, today about building a system, and you had to do that for yourself. Again, Tony, your parents, you gained peers, you were in support groups. But what advice do you have for our audience today who is like, I don't have those same people. I can't afford a therapist. I don't have the same parents that Jessie had. How does someone begin to build that system?
Well, one thing I did this past year is because I realized I can only help the people in my office, is I wrote a book called Life Launch, A Roadmap to an Extraordinary Adulthood. And what it is, it's a self-help book to actually guide you through the process of your own therapy. That's what it is. It's stories from myself and my clients and assignments to get you there. And if you're not going to get the book, another thing to do is there are free resources. Like in grad school, for example, when you're training to become a therapist, you have to start to see clients. And so people who can't afford therapy can find their local MFT program schools and find really low cost or often free therapy. So I think don't be discouraged by the money. There are resources that exist.
Well, and you are living proof that it feels really good to exhale, right? It feels really good to be able to have gotten through it, know that good therapists are out there. know that you can trust your instincts. You can get through the hard times. So thank you, Jessie, for being on today's show. And we're going to continue to wish you all the best. Thank you.
Thank you, Nancy. It was great being here.
Thank you. And for everybody listening, just like Jessie, perhaps you have been through it, right? We all have. I don't think you could escape from life without overcoming a hurdle, a hardship, going through a challenging time. But we'd like to hear from you because perhaps what you got through, the lessons you learned, you can pay it forward and inspire someone in our audience to not give up. So reach out to us at connect@livingfullout.com. Make sure to let us know what it is that you went through. Also, give us your contact information so we can reach out to you. That is how we all build this system, and that's how we live full out together. So when we come back, we're going to be taking more of your calls. I'm here to also give you the coaching that you need to take those initial steps in finding those supporters in your life, getting those coaches in place, and really get talking. Get out of your mind, out of your heart, so that you can live your life full out. We'll be right back.
So I'm a cat, and I just moved in with this new human, and she's got this little toy she's always playing with, all day long. Tap, 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 bloop, bloop. She can't put it down. There it is. Oh, and get this. She even talks to it. Last week, she asked it for Chinese, and guess what? Egg rolls showed up. Like magic. Humans have cool toys.
A person is the best thing to happen to a shelter pet. Be that person. Adopt. Brought to you by the Ad Council and the ShelterPetProject.org.
So, Jacqueline.
Yes, Mom?
I wanted to talk to you about something, and... Oh, wait. Hold on. I just got a text.
Oh, wait, Mom. I just got a message. So many comments on my comment. Hey, guys, check out my new video game. Mom, what? Huh? What'd you say?
This weekend, unplug. Getting closer to nature can get you closer to your family. To find the forest nearest you, go to discovertheforest.org. Brought to you by the U.S. Forest Service and the Ad Council.
Thanks for asking, but I'd rather not send you nude pictures. I'm camera shy. I already said no. It's against my religion. I'm giving my dog a bath. You can have pictures of that. Pressure gives me hives. Under my clothes, I'm a robot. Hold on, let me ask my mom. Sorry, my webcam is broken. I'm worried they'll get passed around school. Unfortunately, I just had my clothes surgically attached to my body. If they got out, I might never be president. I'm already naked, under my clothes. Not even if you were all three Jonas Brothers. I have a rash. I have nudophobia. I have lizard skin. The more you ask, the less I want to. You're not the boss of me. Nudity makes me vomit. I'm a vampire, so I don't show up in pictures anyways. Your badgering has really killed the mood.
When someone is pressuring you to do something you don't want to, how many ways can you say no before they get the message? Let us know at that'snotcool.com. Brought to you by the Ad Council.
If you own a gun, you have a full-time responsibility. When you aren't using it, be sure it can't get into the hands of curious children, troubled teenagers, a thief, or anyone else who might misuse it. Your family, friends, and neighbors are all counting on you. Remember, always, lock it up. For more information on firearm storage safety, visit ncpc.org. This message brought to you by the National Crime Prevention Council, the Bureau of Justice Assistance, and the Ad Council.
This is a test to find out if you know it all when it comes to children. Name one of the leading killers of U.S. children age 1 to 13. What's the best way to protect children in a car crash? At what age and size should a child start using a booster seat?
Don't assume you know it all when it comes to car seats for your child. Go to safercar.gov/the-right-seat and know for sure. Brought to you by the National Highway Traffic Safety Administration and the Ad Council.
When I grow up, I want to be a new pair of blue jeans.
When I grow up, I want to be a kid's first computer.
I want to be a warm fleece on a cold day.
I want to be a football stadium.
I want to be a bike that races around the country.
I want to be a bench on a forest trail.
When I grow up, I don't want to be a piece of garbage. And if you recycle me, I won't be.
Give your garbage another life. Recycle. Learn how at iwanttoberecycled.org.
Brought to you by Keep America Beautiful and the Ad Council.
Well, I finally did it. My student loan is totally paid off.
What? What about our plan to win the lottery and start living? You know, travel the world on matching yachts, wear enough jewelry to require a bodyguard, vacation on the French Riviera, and then buy it.
You know we're never going to win the lottery, right?
When it comes to financial stability, don't get left behind. Get tools and tips for saving at feedthepig.org. This message brought to you by the American Institute of CPAs and the Ad Council.
When it comes to building a system, you want to think about who are those people that I can just be myself with. Make sure you have one of those. Who is that person that pushes me to be my best, that cheerleader in my life? Have one of those. And also other people in your life that open you up to new hobbies, new experiences, make you adventurous. That's what it means to live full out.
You're listening to Living Full Out with Nancy Solari. Nancy is here as a guide to show you how to rise above obstacles and savor each moment. If you have a question, call in live at 800-333-0001. That's 800-333-0001. And now, here's Nancy.
Thank you again for joining us. I'm Nancy Solari, and this is the Living Full Out show. And today we're talking about building a system. And I really enjoy this topic because I think sometimes it takes a whole lifetime to build that tribe, that community. And one of the things you have to consider is letting go of people that don't serve you. Just like our guest earlier today, she had to let go of therapist 1 to find Tony, her therapist 2, that really opened her world up and got her healed. And so sometimes you have to think about, are the friends in your life really lifting you up to be your highest and best self? Or are they having you stay kind of in a toxic place? Is the relationship, the intimate relationship you're in, or your classmates or your colleagues, or maybe a business partner, you got to look down your life here 6 months from now, 5 years from now, maybe the rest of your life. And you got to say, are the relationships that I'm currently investing my valuable time in, are they giving me good habits, good routines? Are they believing in me? Are they holding the space for my aspirations? Or are those people narcissistic? Are those people selfish? Are those people depleting me? And be bold and be courageous to say, you know what, I love you, but I think we've run our course, and it's, I've got to move on. There's different ways we can say it, and I'll be there to help coach you because every situation is going to be different. Every relationship is different. But that's one of the things you want to think about when building a system is not just arms wide open, welcoming new people into your life, but being able to also let go of ones that are not serving you. Now, I'm coming over to our listener now. We have a caller on the line. Let's say hello to them and see what's going on. Hi, welcome to Living Full Out Show.
Hi, Nancy. My name is Latifa.
Yes, how can I help you?
So I had a question about, you were talking about relationships and stuff like that, and me and my husband just found out that we're actually having twin girls, and I'm a new parent. So I was just wondering, how do you divide that line between when to be a good parent to your kids and when to be a good friend?
Do you already have kids on top of the twins coming?
No.
Okay, so newbie. Okay.
Are coming.
Okay, got it. So I really believe in time you're going to naturally find that good fit. I mean, my mom is one of my best friends without a shadow of a doubt. She's amazing. But at the same time, I know my lane as her daughter, or she's my mother, right? You have to have some boundaries, just to have that respect factor and kind of be their guider, be that shining light. And try not to be that helicopter parent, the one that tries to protect the kids from never having a fall or never failing, because it's the times that we fail. It's the times that, we have a hardship in life where we have our biggest growth a lot of times. And, one of the things that you might start doing now, what an exciting adventure, is to start journaling even before the kids can even talk and they you can give that, they can read. You might start journaling your thoughts. How do you feel right now as a new mom? What are your hopes? What are your aspirations? What are your fears? Have you considered having a journal?
I had not considered that, no.
What a great gift, right? I oftentimes think, I've lost my grandparents, my dad's passed, my mom's obviously still alive, but I oftentimes think, gosh, I wish I had something that I could read. What were they thinking? What was my dad thinking when he was going through cancer? I wonder what my grandparents were thinking back when they were teenagers. And so sometimes we can document our thoughts in life, and what a great gift to give them. Maybe they don't even know it's coming. And on their 18th birthday, or when they need words from mom most, you present this beautiful gift. And it could be years and years of journaling. What an idea.
Mm-hmm.
So I think today's the homework. Go to a craft shop and go to some store, get a beautiful journal. Just start putting your thoughts there, the good ones and the ones that seem scary, because that's the most authentic place you can be in. But thank you so much for reaching out and building that system. I love it. Congratulations with your twins.
Thank you.
And for everybody listening today, we are so happy to have been with you. I hope that over the course of the show, you've been able to think about who are those people in your life that you're so proud to have on your team, where you might need to let go of some relationships, but also maybe there's gaps. Maybe there's supporters that you haven't met yet that you know that you need someone to fill that spot. And now you can have an awareness to look out for those people. We want to make sure that you're supported beyond today's show. Make sure you go to livingfullout.com. All of our episodes are waiting there for you. Also, again, if you have Alexa or if you're on the go, just go to the App Store, look for Living Full Out Radio. Otherwise, the entire Living Full Out family, Rich and Eilish and Kale and Caleb and many, many others, just wish you an amazing day. Go out there, build that system, live full out, never look back. Stay away from the coulda, shoulda, wouldas, that gray zone, and just remember to smile and have fun. Here's to you living your life full out.
Thank you for listening to the Living Full Out Show with Nancy Solari. To learn more about this program, visit livingfullout.com for the latest episodes. Connect with the Living Full Out community by following us on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, and subscribing to our YouTube channel. If you have an inspirational story you want to share, email us at connect@livingfullout.com. Here's to you, living full out.